Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done watching Season 2 of Luke Cage. Luke Cage is a Marvel TV show on Netflix, and what did I think of the season? Right? I've seen some back and forth things online. I've seen some people really into it, other people saying it was a disappointment. I will say that I enjoyed this season. I did. Did I love it? Am I over the moon? Am I jumping up for joy? Am I going to sing the show's praises right now? Probably not. But I will say that there's a lot of good things here, and I do think I will be saying more good than bad. First, Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, I think is great. Really like this guy as this character. I buy him as just somebody who's trying to protect Harlem. And I also buy that even though he's bulletproof, even though you can't kill him, essentially, this is hard. This is hard for him to keep up. You see that he's still in a relationship with Claire, played by Rosario Dawson. And I said previously that I didn't care for these two together as a couple, only because I want Luke Cage to end up with Jessica Jones. It's the way it should be. It's the way it has to be. But besides that little fact, I do like the two characters, and I do in some ways like them as a couple. There's one scene in particular where they get into an argument, and this argument is so real. The scene, the way it was acted, was shot so sincere. It felt like a real relationship problem, and it's one of those things where sometimes you see in especially a CW superhero show, right, where you see a couple who are dating and they have to have these weird arguments that are unnecessary, unneeded, and it makes one of the characters look unlikable and looks horrible. This one, I understood both of their point of views. I understood why they felt the way that they did and why it was clashing. Absolutely love the fact that at the beginning you see Luke Cage having money problems. He's a hero and he is saving people and doing all this stuff, but he still needs to make money. Luke Cage is having to take up jobs, get hired by people that he probably really wouldn't care to be associated with, but they're paying good money, and he's still protecting and saving people, always making appearances, and he's doing this and that. And I love this because I've said numerous times how many other shows about superheroes where all of these characters don't have jobs, but they're living in these nice apartments and there's no care in the world for real life issues like needing money, like paying bills. And you see something like that, just something so relatable. Alfre Woodard as Mariah is great. She is the villain of the series. You saw last season she killed her own cousin Cottonmouth, and she's taken over the business. This actress is great. She has so much to do throughout the series, and I was really impressed with how they were able to make her in some episodes seem like a victim or seem like somebody who is needing to be protected, and then other episodes she's evil. She's doing some of the most heinous things that you can imagine. Her relationship with Shades was interesting because Shades, he was a character who last season I didn't really care for, didn't care for the actor or the character, just seemed like he was there just to be there. This season he gets a lot more to do. He has a bigger role, or at least a role that makes more sense. Bushmaster is another villain that shows up, and I love this character. Probably the best character of the season, just because he has a point of view, right? Sure, he comes in and he's a physical threat for Luke Cage. He somehow is able to take bullets or just have a hand-to-hand fight with Cage and not get killed like most other people would. He could go toe-to-toe with him, and I like that. But his backstory, when you find out what happened to his family, his past, and what motivates him to go after Mariah or to kill the people that he's killing. And trust me, he kills people in some brutal ways. But the guy was fascinating to watch. The actor was great to watch. The Jamaican accent, just everything that I was glued every time he showed up on screen. We finally meet Luke Cage's father, played by Reg E. Cathey, who I know he passed away earlier this year, so this is probably the last thing that he shot. And And it's sad to watch the scenes knowing that, but he's so good in the show. His relationship with Luke Cage, especially his past relationship with him and how they didn't, he wasn't fully behind his son, didn't fully trust him. He was a pastor, so he looked down on him. Misty Knight is a big part of this season, which is good. I love the fact that just the first like 2 or 3 episodes, she's dealing with what it's like to lose an arm. Something that, once again, some other superhero shows, something big like a character losing a limb or getting paralyzed or something like that that would affect you in real life, they would gloss over it. It'd be over in one scene, and then we're just moving on and no time to really process and think about what that character is going through. Misty gets that. Misty gets that inner turmoil of what she should do now. All the other people in the police department looking at her strange and talking about her, and she's willing to stick up for herself. Season 1, Misty had a stick up her ass. She did. She was a little bit of a bitch, sure. But this season, she's more vulnerable, and I like that. There's one scene where Colleen Wing shows up, and they have a great dynamic. Just that one episode was great. Speaking of that, I should probably mention that Danny Rand shows up. Iron Fist himself. I know. I rolled my eyes when I saw the actor too, because I thought, I don't want to do this again. But surprisingly, I didn't mind him. Surprisingly, he was decent in the episode that he was in, and I really liked his back and forth with Luke Cage. I almost felt like, look, I'm not saying that redeems Iron Fist. It does not. That season still sucks. And I'm not even saying that it will get me to want to see another season of Iron Fist. No, I'm just saying that it would probably work better with Danny as a side character, or if we made a Heroes for Hire TV show and the two of them could bounce off of each other. The disappointment that some people have with the show, and I do understand it, I did feel a little bit of it, is that it is slow. It does take its time to develop things, develop the story. There's not a whole lot of action. When the action does happen, it's really just people shooting at Luke Cage. And I can't imagine how many hoodies this guy has to go through, because they all have bullet holes in them. But still, there's not much more you could do with the action. It's just people shooting at Luke Cage and then him punching them out, taking them out. Not a whole lot more than that. And there is a lot of character stuff. I know people will find that boring. People will say, oh, come on, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to action. Let's get to this and that. And I just appreciated the character stuff. I appreciate taking our time with the characters, getting inside their head, actually seeing what they're going through, and watching things play out as a progression, as a story. You don't get that a lot with superhero shows, so I was fully embracing that. I didn't mind that at all, but I do see that some people aren't going to love that, are going to be bored. I get it. I did like the soundtrack. Mobb Deep, Shook Ones at the beginning was great. Ghostface Killer shows up. KRS-One shows up. They all perform at that club, of course. There are probably too many like montage scenes of people performing, and then you just have stuff going on with like jazz music playing. There's so many jazz musicians showing up and performing, and it's a lot. I probably would have cut it in half or something. I do think that the show was able to figure out one solid through-line story as opposed to the Diamondback stuff in the last season. I do think it's a lot more focused. I do think that there's a clear-cut story that is being told. I'm very much looking forward to a season 3 of this character, of this show, especially how it leaves off. Very interested. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen all of season 2 of Luke Cage. Did you enjoy it? Do you appreciate what they're doing with the story and the characters? Or were you bored? Did you want more action? Did you want more stuff going on? Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!